Hey folks, Adrian Amos here with Synergy Technical, back for another tip of the day. Pretty excited about this one. Honestly, this is probably our number one requested capability when we deliver immersion experiences. The question today that we're going to face is, how do I keep users from downloading company data to personal devices? One of the challenges that we face with a very mobile workforce is that users take their personal devices, their company devices, they access the same resources, everything is fine, they're able to get the work done when they're on the road, when they're at home, but we really don't want to lose control of our actual corporate data, right? So we don't want files that we've worked on and put in SharePoint to be downloaded to personal devices and leave the organization's controls. So we're going to look at some conditional access capabilities offered within Azure Active Directory to protect and make sure that users are able to do the work they need to do when they're on our company devices, but not when they're on their personal devices, or at least let them work but not take it with them. So in this environment today, I have a virtual machine that is actually joined to Contoso Azure Active Directory. You can see right here, it's joined by Alan DeYoung. He's our IT guy, so he gets a lot of background chatter information here. I'm in his webmail, able to look at his messaging and see all the fun stuff that he has here. Now, I also have an incognito tab in Chrome, so we can see all the fun things that he's got going on here, the same exact set of messages. In fact, if I come down here and see, there we go, there's the same message from Diego. Now, if I'm on the company device and I go to SharePoint, it's going to let me in with no problem. If I come to the personal device and let me go to SharePoint, it should come up with a notification that I am going to be monitored when I'm on SharePoint. So let's give that a second to load. Very exciting. There we go. Access to SharePoint Online is monitored. Now, I clicked the same links here. I did nothing in between the two, but on my personal device, a device that is not managed by Contoso, I'm going to get this notification that my access is going to be monitored. So the way that's working is I actually have a SharePoint policy or a conditional access policy for SharePoint over here. Pull up my conditional access policies. And you're going to see I have a policy in here that says SharePoint block downloads from personal devices. Now, I haven't gotten to the point of even trying to download a thing, but we've already noticed a different behavior, right? So I have this policy that says for my users who are coming into the app SharePoint Online, and I could add any set of Office 365 applications that I wanted to for this, or connected applications, or things that are filtered up as enterprise applications for my Azure Active Directory. I chose just SharePoint. And I want to say that the device itself is not Hybrid Azure AD joined or marked as compliant. Yeah, you may or may not be able to worry about that one, depending on the license level you have. But then we want to say we want to grant it control, but we want to use session policies from conditional access for app control. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to enable just the block downloads session control. So let's go back in here. I'm going to come and say, yes, continue. In the meantime, while that's coming up, I'm going to click on media preview packages. I'm going to go to documents over here. So I'm going to let the same thing come up over here. It might take a moment. Wait for these two machines to come up here. All right, so on this side here in the virtual machine, I've got my documents. Looks like we've got some Contoso announcements around legal changes. All right, so I'm going to hover over this. Let me hover over that so I can get my download button here. There we go. I'm going to download this file to this computer. While that's downloading, see it's downloading down there. I'm going to click on the same news site. Don't speak much SharePoint, but I've downloaded the file, and while it's coming up on my incognito browser, I'm going to go ahead and open it over here in the virtual machine. So I'm able to open the file, I'm able to browse it, see the contents here in the virtual machine. I've downloaded it. I'm going to open the file. Let me come over here while that's opening, and I'm going to go to Documents within the Incognito tab, because it won't work in a half-scaled tab. And now I can see my same documents, right? So I'm going to hover over Contoso Electronics announces the same thing, events legal department moves. So I'm going to hover over my ellipsis and wait for a second for it to give me the full menu. Might be a couple of seconds. There we go. I'm going to click download here, and we should have a very different behavior. So it's going to come up, and the file that's downloaded is called blocked.whatever.txt, and it's going to tell me that the file was blocked. Okay, that's great. That's good. We're blocking the file. Now, I should still be able to open this file and work with it within this incognito tab, and it should look exactly the same as it looked on the other session inside the virtual. Give that just a moment. In the meantime, flip back over to this guy. Here it is actually open in Word on the virtual machine, right? So I've got it in Word, I've got it in the Word Online. Now here I am looking at it in the tab, in the incognito tab on my web browser. And I can see all the content there. It's exactly the same as it was before. Once this thing finishes loading though, I want to hit File and see if I can bypass these controls and do a Save As. So I'm going to hit the Save As and do Download a Copy. That'll bypass all these rules. Here it says it's going to download it. Totally got it, right? Except once again, download block. So we've achieved this with a very simple conditional access policy defined in our Azure Active Directory that's using conditional access app session controls. And we're able to allow our users to securely work as long as they're on a device that we control, that we trust. They're able to work on their own personal devices, but they're not able to take the document with them when they're done. So hope you found that beneficial. Thanks and have a great day.